Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, October 28th, 2014. We have a village board meeting followed by a committee of the whole meeting. Time is 7:01, I believe. First item is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Too fast? Sherby, would you please call the roll this evening?
Present.
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 Present. Present.
Present. We do have a quorum this evening. Our next item is a presentation. We're honoring the retirement of Police Officer Keith Rollins. I see Keith and Cara in the audience, not in uniform, but in civilian clothes, and also Officer Dan Kaiser is here as well, also a retired officer from the village of Westchester, and I see officers in the back in support. So Keith, if you wouldn't mind, step up to the middle there. Keith Rollins served the department for 30 years. For 30 years of service, dedicated service to the village of Westchester. He served in the capacity of patrol. He also did a stint in detectives, did an awesome job there as well. And he was an officer in the Northern Illinois Police Alarm System, which is our crowd control team made up of probably 96 different communities. Keith was a team leader in that regard. He was a master taser instructor, so if anyone wants to be tased, Keith's always open to tase you with all kinds of equipment. He comes from a law enforcement family. His brother was a deputy chief of Lombard and now the chief of Sugar Grove. So we honored actually Keith today and Cara for putting up with him for all these years. Keith was a valuable asset, certainly while I was a police officer here. And as mayor, I always looked to Keith for guidance and conversation. So it was always open for him, certainly, and his family as well. Cara also was a school board member as well, and served District 92 as well as 90. So I want to acknowledge you, Keith. Village of Westchester honoring retirement presented to you in appreciation and recognition of your 30 years of professional service and dedication to the village of Westchester and the protection and safety of our citizens. Signed by me and certainly the board of trustees. We wish you good health. Whatever you plan on doing in your endeavors in the future, we hope to make $1 million, and then you could donate some back to Westchester for cars and equipment and stuff. We certainly, you're a friend of mine, and you're certainly a friend of the village and department as well. Thank you. Officers are here. Take a picture with Keith. For all your friends and comrades, and the chief's out of town. Warmers with him. Want to sneak around the back, guys? All in the back. In honor of your retirement, we have some cake and coffee as well, so if we take a little recess for a moment. There's cake and coffee to honor Keith. And actually, all the retired members of the stepped up.
Swear to God. I mean, I took it as the most disrespectful. Number one, it's disrespectful. Number two, it's deceitful.
How's your your trip?
Because I was in South America. I was at a meeting in you got it. What's his birthday? Who was a career military. And he called him out because he says his ribbons were off. He called him out. Trying to lose some weight from Italy.
Yeah?
Yep.
How long were you there?
9 days.
Right. Hey. Nice. I think also.
I just wanted to let you know one thing I forgot in the email that I sent you.
Couldn't have forgotten anything. You sent me so much paperwork. So
Only 2 little documents.
I had like 37 pages on
Oh
one.
yeah, banners and
No, his was the shorter one, wasn't it?
well, I don't know. You know, and I didn't mean to
I got this
separate.
the chart that I wanted to. That was very important. So,
Yeah, someone could have did that.
so one of them got it. Yeah. There's plenty of cake if you guys want some. Yeah. Yeah, there's plenty.
work out there.
You know what you gotta do?
Yeah, I remember the being pays me more.
Here, listen, question I got. As long as you got Wi-Fi somewhere. Google, it's a Google.
Yeah, and you should know
I
that.
got a bunch of guys that use it all the time. They've been trying to talk about it, and I
We
actually.
used to do that so much. But she would have like the light on.
Right, all you need, and you pick your number and everything. You got it. You set it there.
So it's like an education.
Yeah. And it doesn't
Well, you
cost
should
you.
do it work. Yeah, I mean, it's not like I have a lot of time to talk to him, or he has a lot of time to talk to us anyway, because.
With the guys at work,
Only regular.
get one of those numbers, and that's how they get the numbers.
Appointment situation here.
I think the Verizon Wi-Fi signal.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the best thing ever.
No, so you're using it for phone?
The best thing. You can leave it wide open, and anybody who's in the house, when they dial out, will automatically connect to it, so they can get a signal. Or you can set
So
up.
it's the benefit, like in the race.
Right, but it only uses up to 6 phones at any given time. So what I did, you can also set up 6 phones on there. Those are the only phones that be able to use it. Right now I have 5 phones. So if you guys are like my house, only one of you uses training. It's got one free space. So one of you guys will be able to get out. If you're on the phone and somebody else tried to do it, they wouldn't be able to use it.
Oh,
But I would make crawl space.
and how much is that?
There's no monthly fee, but it costs me $270.
For the motor?
Plug it in. Plug in your.
So is that you?
But it's like all this four years. It's supposed to be 4 grand. It got worse.
So you and Verizon phone?
Yeah, and they were putting new SIM cards in there. Maybe it's a SIM card, maybe it's this. I can even walk outside my house just as long as I catch that Wi-Fi signal. But if I lose that Wi-Fi signal,
Which one?
I drop it because I can't even stand in the drive-thru. Before I used to have to go and hang on the drive-thru. Now I can't even do that. I have to go to the shore, all the way to the shore to get 6. Suppose we drive there and hours cook out. We did. That's why this house is what we get. But I'm like, all right, man. That was Monday. Phone switch. He doesn't say no.
Yeah, I was wondering how much always was.
Hey, congratulations. Thank you, man. Yeah, enjoy.
Okay, so I'm gonna find you on the tree.
Congratulations, how are you?
Good, good.
Enjoy it.
Because I swear you look exactly like my cousin Rich.
It's easy.
There's gotta be some distant.
Cagnals have a distinct voice.
Yes.
Yeah, we all got cheeks and big cheeks, and you know.
But no, trust me, I bet you any money. Somewhere down the line. Rich. Rich Cupcake. And the cousin that's doing it is my cupcake. She comes from his wife is big into.
Where were they originally?
The Force Park.
All the Force Park.
Yeah,
Okay,
they
yeah.
owned right, they're actually called Cupcake. Sort of probably.
I know they're a distant relation, cousins of a cousins of a cousins.
But she's digging into it. I mean, it's phenomenal. We're related.
I went back and I tried to do one of those family tree things to see, because my father didn't know his mother, and my father died when he was like 33 years old. My father was only 25 years old.
So how far back before
So
people came from
Italy, yeah, you're going back about maybe 3 generations. Okay. And then you start to see, and they all came from the East Coast, something, give me a shout.
Definitely. Thanks again.
Great.
Thanks.
Enjoy.
Take care.
Yep.
All right.
Horrible. Okay, I'd like to reconvene our meeting. Again, thanks to Keith Rollins for his service and all the retired guys that were here and department members that were here. Item number 5, public comments. I see we have some public this evening. If you want to address us in some form or fashion, step up to the microphone, state your name for our clerk, Sherby, and I guess fire away. Go. Sure. Once, twice, 3 times. In other words, this must be like something for school that you have to sit through a government meeting.
Suffer through.
Because that and watching paint dry is probably the same thing. Okay, we don't have any public hearing. Consent agenda, we have A through D. A, record of bills ending 10/23/14, $419,616.78. Approval of the minutes of the board meeting of the 23rd, committee of the whole of the 23rd, executive session of the 23rd. Resolution authorizing the execution of agreement by the village and between the Village of Westchester and Kane McKenna Capital Incorporated, and an amendment to the professional engineering services agreement between the Village of Westchester and Christopher Burke Engineering. Mike, do we need the numbers in those as well? Okay.
I'm searching now.
Okay.
Thought I made a note on my agenda and I left that one on my desk and my secretary gave me the one that doesn't have the dollar amounts in it.
Okay, I know
Here we go.
I know it was 23 something for, was it 23 even?
23,000 even is for Burke. I'm looking for the King McKenna.
Okay.
So
like
it was
15?
15,000?
15,000, so the item C is 15,000 and item D is $23,000. That's for the contract for engineering services being item D. And that's an amendment to their existing agreement. And the agreement with regard to Kane McKenna for $15,000 is with respect to an analysis for whether the village should issue additional bonds that it previously was authorized to issue.
Anyone have any questions regarding any of that? If not, is there a motion and a second for their approval?
So moved. Second. I don't know who got first.
Okay, who jumped in? I thought I heard Celeste. And who was the second? Frank? Okay. Okay, the items have been mentioned. These are things that have been discussed at a prior committee of the whole. Roll call, please.
Trustee Calhoun.
Aye.
Trustee Perry.
Aye.
Trustee Rita.
Aye.
Trustee Stecker.
Aye.
Trustee Yorkovich.
Aye.
President Kuliak.
Aye, motion carries. I don't see anything on the active agenda. Managers report. We have an assistant manager this evening in Maureen Patempa, our financial director. As you are well aware, Janet Mathai's father passed away the other day, and she was here today, probably until about an hour ago, trying to get through some of the mails and things of that. So, a sorry thing, of course, and we were well represented, Village of Westchester. We had an escort and a number of floral pieces. Thank you for those who sent floral pieces to Janet for her father and that, and, you know, those things happen. So it's one of those things. Anything?
No,
Miss Manager today.
On behalf of Janet, we have nothing to report.
Okay. Michael?
I'm going to follow suit on, maybe we can get out of here before 9 o'clock tonight.
It's only because Paul is here and the over and under is shot. Board members, let's see, we'll start with EDC. Frankie, anything you have?
EDC did not meet. Our next committee meeting will be November 10th at 7:30 in the community room, AM.
Okay, Nikolai?
Nothing tonight.
Celestine, anything? Angelo?
No, actually, same here. We did not meet, and our next meeting is a joint meeting with Tommy's group also. It's the second Thursday, the 13th of November.
Okay. 13th for the cab. So Tommy, that's, you're adding that as well? Okay. Mike, I know Chief Carpino is at a Chiefs conference, and you are subbing this evening?
He is. Nothing to report other than things are going well. The Fall Fest at the Fountain was attended well with no problems there. And the police department is also actively working on the school bus violation enforcement. For the last couple of weeks, we've randomly placed police officers on the buses and have issued a number of citations and warnings, which hopefully will help bring down the number of stop arm violations. So, other than that, that's it.
I tell you, that's all over Facebook too, Mike. Yeah.
It's getting a really good response
It
from
is.
bus drivers and the schools, and it's actually bringing the number down substantially. So the chief wants to keep the program going for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's going to be a morning route, an afternoon route, or which one, but they're just putting an officer on the bus, and they call it into an unmarked car. The car's going.
What's the fine for that?
It's 150. The minimum fine is $150 and a 3-month suspension of your driver's license.
That'll spread quickly. Wow.
So, great. Keep up the
though.
good work.
Keep them safe.
Express that to the troops as well. James?
Just two things. I want to, our big Mavis drill has actually been moved to November 12th at St. Joe's, the old St. Joe's High School. I just kind of want to let residents know when they see a lot of fire equipment in the area, not only Westchester, but Mavis assets. It's just an exercise or a training exercise that we'll be doing basically all day from 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the evening. Practicing hazmat, TRT. Originally, this was going to incorporate law enforcement, but Mavis doesn't want to pay for police, so it's funded through IEMA, and it covers most of the costs that are going to occur that day. And a big thanks to St. Joe's for allowing us to have this drill in their old school. So, and then the other thing I have is this weekend we all gain an hour of sleep, so let's remember to change all our batteries in our smoke detectors. Change your clock, change your battery.
Thank you. Jessica?
Janet wanted me to bring up an idea of having a village website on Facebook, just as another way to bring information to the residents. It'll be a little bit, people are very familiar with Facebook, so it might be a little bit more user-friendly as far as some of our possibly younger, more technology hip residents are concerned. So she wanted me to ask your opinions if you guys had any thoughts as the board.
Anybody have an issue with it?
No, I think it's a good idea. I don't have
What'd you say?
a good idea.
You think it's a good idea? Okay.
Yeah.
I do too. Right.
Issues? Anybody?
No issues.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, cool.
Sounds like something you could work on and, you know, give us a little framework or, you call it outline of what the plan is. Michael?
Never trying to throw a damper on this, but
you do have issues with postings then and removing postings. You know, just because somebody's critical, you can't just remove that post. So you got to have some types of standards set up for, you know, obviously profane items, things of that nature, you can remove. So your guidelines have to be reviewed in terms of pretty much allowing things that are, you'd feel that on your own personal website, you'd take off, but you can't do that since it's a public site, so.
That's good.
Let me ask you this, in your travels and municipalities you represent, do any of them have a Facebook thing, and are there guidelines already out there that you're comfortable with that maybe you can suggest that would work for us as well?
In answer to your first question, I'm absolutely the worst person to ask about. I don't have Facebook, I don't use it, I'm not aware of any of my municipal clients that actually have it, but there was a presentation at the IML last year with regard to issues concerning that.
With Facebook, because the fire department just started one, I don't know a lot about Facebook myself, but it's a business way of doing it, and only the administrators can post on the site. All people can do is like things, which is giving thumbs ups or whatever.
Yeah, if you can
So-
restrict it in that way, then that's the best, because that was part of that IML presentation.
And the police department does it the same way, where only the administrator can post. The nice thing, too, that the way it's set up, you can actually draw data from who is actually looking at the site, so you can actually get a good idea of, you know, age groups and everything, and see who's really using your website, which is.
But
really
you have
nice.
to tune your website to prohibit other people
Right,
from
it's a certain way
commenting
you
on it.
set it up.
And I think when towns first started doing that, they hadn't taken that precaution, and all of a sudden, they had all this on there, so.
I am investigating ways to make sure that we are being careful what we allow on the website. There is a feature that does not allow any profanity, or you can allow a medium level, which I have no idea what a medium level of profanity means. But also the level of comments that people can put on a website, what they're allowed to say, and then also, of course, if this is my baby, then how I'll be responding to it as well. And seeking out the appropriate sources so that the information that's put out there is factually accurate, but also doesn't get us in legal trouble. So,
Yeah, well, I think, like Chief Adams was saying, you know, the most secure, conservative methodology is only you can access it, the staff, so.
Just,
Yeah.
this is strictly just to put information out.
yes.
So
That's
that,
Right.
yeah, just to make,
About events,
Yeah.
we're also concerned about the pictures, because like at Fall Fest, you know, I know that there were pictures taken by me as the village photographer of children, but I didn't ask permission of the parents, so I cannot post those on the website. Members of the board, it's different, you're gonna get posted on the website. So, you know, we're gonna have to change the way that I take pictures at events and make sure that we have permission, because some parents don't want their children on Facebook, obviously, which is fine. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that kind of go into it that maybe at the next meeting I'll have a more informed report for you.
Yeah, my personal opinion would be if we could not have it where people can comment, because I know there's a couple sites on there now where people create phony accounts and they make up all sorts of stuff just to get people riled up, and you know, the names don't even exist, but you have no way of prohibiting that. So, but while I'm actually thinking of it, I brought it up previously, but this might be something you're interested in. There was an app with iCity, and Greg, what do we have? Civic Plus, where they thought about where you can actually get, it's like an iCalendar, and what people might be able to do is if they go on the city's website, what they could do is they could download the calendar, and you could have, you know, the public schools, you could have Divine Infant, you could have the Chamber, you could have all of them, you know, give you their, I mean, I think we have a list of all the events and everything, but if we make a calendar, and then if people want to download the calendar, it'll go right to their phone, and then they'll know of all the events that are going on in town throughout all the different organizations and stuff. And then, you know, when people say they want to know, just you can, and it's pretty simple now. I mean, most people now have a
a smartphone, and all that information they could just put then right on their phone. And they might even be able to. There might even be a way of choosing which ones you want. You know, if you're not interested in chamber events, well, you don't have to. But if you want Divine Infant, Divine Providence, and the intermediate school, you could just have, you can customize it. So I don't know, but I know Civic Plus offered something like that, and we already have that kind of stuff in place. So.
Okay, and just so you are aware as well, that sounds fabulous, and we can look into that and see if that's something that we can do. I'm also taking the events at Frank's suggestion, kind of. I'm taking the events from the calendar that Katie puts together in the newsletter, and I'm adding each individual event to the website's calendar, so that there's kind of a cross-reference there with as much information as I have, which isn't much, but at least direct somebody to, the library's phone number or whatnot.
Because, I mean, it drives me nuts, some of the stuff though on Facebook where people spend 20 minutes trying to find somebody who has an answer about what time something is, when they could just go on the village website.
Right.
Or, you could just do this, but their answer to everything is Facebook. I don't get it, but they can maybe just download the calendar, make that available to them, and then they're going to have all that information right on their phone.
Yeah, the point is just to make information like our events, and we're trying to figure out what kind of content would exactly go in there, but basically it's really just information. Since it comes up so easily on your phone, usually that's how people get it. So yeah, I mean, that absolutely makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thanks, Jess. Anything else? Gregory?
I don't have that much, just a few things that were added to our website. This is a piece of information. Helly advised me that after October 31st, the vehicle stickers will no longer be available for purchase online, that citizens will have to come into the Village Hall. It's been noted on the website for that. But to continue on real quick on the aspect of the mobile app, Civic Plus in August put a hold on the mobile app that they were working on before that we budgeted for.
Oh, okay.
So we did not continue progress in developing that until their new app is available. They're calling it 2.0. I have been working with them. Well, what they were trying to do is integrate it more with an actual app. Their old version was you'd select the calendar and it would bring you to a web page as opposed to being all within the app to allow you to do things like that. I don't know if it'll download the whole calendar, but you would be able to download a specific event into your calendar with one button press.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. And if you can even get push notifications or something, because then we can send out, and obviously it's going to only a small part of the population right now, but looking forward. But if you have the push notifications, it could pop up, hey,
yes,
I got to get my butt to Village Hall because it's the last day for city stickers or water bills are due or whatever the case may be.
Yes, and also on the calendar side of things, we've given access to various other governmental entities or boards and commissions to add their own data and information that they have. So they're able to get into our website, place an informational piece, a dated informational piece. We get notification that they've done that so that we can review before that, if they were putting something up that would be, for profit or something, we know we can double check their work. So we do have a checks and balances, and we can do the same thing with the schools. We can attempt to talk to them. Their calendar right now, if you've ever seen theirs, is just a PDF, and they do it a month in advance. So basically what I'm getting at is they have the information in enough time to, if we give them access after speaking to Janet, making sure that it's okay, we'll give them rights to add their data. I'm sure they have secretary or clerks or somebody who's putting that PDF calendar together could add that information in, and it would be a part of our calendar as well.
Cool, thank you.
So yeah, and the app, like I said, as soon as I get confirmation that they're done with their new version, we'd like to start rolling it out. And basically, they said it wouldn't take too long, other than for us to just have a little bit of a design interest in it. But the rest of it's going to be done by them. So we don't have much influence. It's going to look like our current website on an app, iPad, iPhone, to provide a lot of information, just as you do on the website, but a little more convenient so that it's just one tap. If you've ever tried to go to the website on the phone,
yeah,
it's a little different.
Difficult, yeah.
It's a little different if you don't know what you're looking for. So hopefully this will alleviate that problem.
Cool, thank you.
That's all I have.
Anything else, Greg?
No, that's it.
Robert?
Wanted to make the board aware of a
couple of things. First, our 50/50 sidewalk replacement program. At the last meeting, Committee of the Whole, we talked about the 50/50 program and the award of that program. But our contractor, 4C Construction from Addison, was notified by his concrete supplier that there were no guaranteed deliveries. There's a shortage of Portland cement. And what that means for us is that without a guaranteed delivery, he could pull sidewalk and not be able to replace it this year. Finding that somewhat skeptical, I made several phone calls to try to verify this. I talked to Elmhurst Chicago Stone, which we do order from, Prairie Materials and Ozinga, some of the larger suppliers in the area, and I also had conversations with the Portland Cement Association in Skokie, and they did verify that there is a shortage of Portland, and only the larger contractors are getting guaranteed deliveries. I did call a couple larger ones that I know, and they indicated to me, because they have an account with the suppliers, that they're guaranteed, but only if they order it a week in advance and in significant quantities, 4 or 5 trucks a day. And that's not where we are with this program. So I did not bring this to you as a form of a contract to ratify tonight. And what I am planning to do is to cancel this program for this year. It's late in the season. We've opted to do some work in front of the schools, and school is in session. So it's somewhat problematic, and then with this inability to guarantee that we can replace the squares that we take out, I did not want the contractor to move forward to remove squares and then have to go all winter long with the trip hazard out in front of houses. There's a certain expectation.
Once there's snow on there, people aren't going to see, and
you can't shovel the wall.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of omens here saying that maybe we should wait on this. So I have not brought the contract forward, and it is our plan to refund everyone that's paid in and begin the program again in the spring.
They'll be guaranteed then that they'll
They
get
can
first.
get in, but the price, it will have to rebid.
Oh, that's
So
right.
the price won't be guaranteed. We'll know the price when we rebid.
So we'll hold this budget to next year also, just carry it over.
Could we do
It'll
it the
be
whole
additional.
program next year, if we're gonna roll it over?
Actually, you don't roll the money over. Whatever is not spent in this year goes against whatever potential deficit you have as a reduction. You can't say, well, there's 40,000 here, and now we're gonna throw an extra 40 and make it 80 next year. You can make it 80 next year if you want to, but you can't throw the 40 over. I guess, and I'm certainly in favor, but just to let you know, we did send out contracts, we did receive checks. The board, in my opinion, we're going to obviously send a letter out and indicate this, and I verified the same thing through V3 today when I talked to them about concrete, and they said that everything's going to the 290 extension. If you ever went to like the Schaumburg area, you see the giant cement pillars that are up there to hook up that roadway. Everything and their brother is going there, and nothing for the small jobs. And actually, we heard this last week as well when we met with LaGrange Park officials for the sanitary line that's going to be next year. So a couple of options just to consider. I think the homeowner price this year was $73. I mean, if you want to hold that, and this is for a discussion, I mean, if you want to hold that, and then if the price goes up, you can eat it, okay, as a village for under good faith, or you can basically say, guess what, it's going from 73 to say whatever it is, and that's the new price. Do you want to go ahead with the program? And they have the option to say yes or no. So those things are just to consider out there. That I don't know what our cutoff would be, so to speak, but say for instance, it went to $100, then, maybe the village would eat that extra $25. I'm not suggesting that, but just saying that is a potential that's out there. Because people have signed contracts. We've sent it out because the board said, go ahead with this. We're just going to ratify it at this meeting. And we wanted to get a jump on it because we have weather issues. And you all know my feeling about doing any construction
This time of year.
past September 30th next year. With the leaves and everything else that's going down, I prefer to have everything done and all the heat shrunk street markings in that nothing's going to peel and the street's not going to buckle if it gets colder because it didn't have 3 months to settle or whatever the case may be. I think Robert knows that very well, that we'll be trying to end our program by the end of September instead of starting something in October, which has been part and parcel for probably the last 20 years. We've done October things. So it doesn't seem to be working out very well for us. So just a commentary to think about.
Well,
what
we're
you'd
going to have
like
to send
do.
out the letters, though.
The letters have
So
to go out.
My recommendation would be, once we go out to bid it again, if it comes in less, it comes in less. But otherwise, I'd like to lock in the price that they essentially paid for. Only because I wouldn't want someone to not be able to now, not be able to eliminate a trip hazard or fix something that needed to get done at their house because of financials, because of this situation. I mean, obviously it's not our fault either, but I think as a good faith, they did put forth the money, and I wouldn't want anyone to not get it done. So that's just my opinion.
What are the options of maybe doing this sometime in April and still
In
getting
this
in
year?
on this year's budget? Is it feasible? I mean, just putting it out there. Just and
Well, we
doing
could
2
go-
projects next year. Do one in
we could
April, do
go-
one in the summer. Yeah, I know.
We could at least go out to bid, or if we have to even rebid it, depending on the price.
Yeah, we can rebid the
And then, I mean, even if they do it, the work in May, we could approve it in April and be done with this, but, have it still on.
Well, the question is going to be, what is the price going to be, and
Right.
are we going to eat it? Are we going to pass it? What are we doing? I mean, we can bid whenever we want to. Generally, we try to bid out street projects.
I
in
was just
December.
saying, in terms of trying to use the budgeted money from this year's budget, and then, next year, you can essentially do 2 projects.
Well, I think
2
the question
phases.
is going to be, how long are these big projects in the hopper for? And is the concrete, I'm going to say a ban, but not getting it, how long is that going to continue? I mean, you don't know what that thing is. Ozinga is still producing or whatever. They'll probably have their winter mix or whatever, but we don't know what may or may not be available in April to do anything. So
They all
you're going to have to make some calls and figure it out.
They all indicated to expect a price increase early in the year.
Well, I mean, we could have held our breath and figured out that one, right? And it was going to happen. So, well, I guess the question of the day is regarding the price variance. I gave an opinion, Nick gave an opinion. Is anybody a different opinion, or do you have any other thing that you want to discuss? Anybody?
I have
Yay,
no problem
nay, like
holding
it,
the
don't
price
like it?
With the people that signed the contract already.
As far as the price, are we going to hold at the 73 whatever?
Yeah,
It was
I
a
mean,
low number of squares.
I don't know, I don't have a problem with that.
I'm okay.
Only for those that signed up.
That are in this
For the number of
That- yeah,
squares they signed
presently in the
up for.
squares.
And of course, if the numbers come back too high, you can always not accept them and rebid or, roll it over again. But, if you were saying it goes to $100 a square and you're gonna pay $29, you may want to rethink that. So, but by doing what you're saying tonight, you're not locking yourselves in to that,
That $73 a square is half of the price.
Right, I mean.
Right.
146 a
Right,
square.
but I'm talking about homeowner responsibility.
Right.
So,
At 100, you'd be eating $127.
well, you know what, I think we work with Maureen to figure out how many people, what the effect is gonna be, and then send the information out to us, because, there are trip hazards that we're eating all of it. I mean, it's just as simple as that. So if we break it down into trip hazard that we're eating, and then how many squares out there for residents that paid in money, we'll have a number. I think you got those numbers, probably not at your fingertips, but we have those that you could send out to the board and get a better flavor for it. Okay, we could do kind of a phone poll and see where we want to go before the letters go out. Sounds like a plan, everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Robert.
Okay, LED streetlights. As of the end of Saturday, close of business on Saturday, they had repaired all the streetlights lights that had been on the list for reported outages. Thursday, Friday, I should get a cost list from them, what was repaired and what our costs were. My sense is that we're not at far under the maximum, but I don't have the exact numbers. I'll report that back to the board as I get those numbers. There are additional lights that continue to pop out. So he was out there on Monday doing those as well. I thought we should do the extras that were out, that weren't on the original list, because the prices were still less than we were getting from the other 3 vendors we talked to. So it's, at this point, it's still an economic advantage to get them fixed.
Robert, just offhand, I know you don't have any cost on anything, but since we were supposed to be kind of monitoring what type of repairs were being done, did you notice a lot of them that were getting the full overhaul, or?
No, not
okay.
a lot of them.
So, okay.
Not a lot. We had a couple he had to go back to, and I was very curious why, after repairing them, we're going back, and was ready to wrestle them down about we're not paying twice. But it turned out to be that in each case there was a contractor that had hit a light cable and then blew those lights out, and we're going to bill the contractor for those directly. So we've been keeping track of some of these double bills and finding out why did that occur, and was it a warranty thing, and or are you not doing it right? So we have been watching what they're doing and comparing their lists, and when it popped up that they went to a couple locations twice, I want to know why. But then we found a reason that they burned out, and someone to help share the cost of that repair, because there's a cause and effect, and we can either, if they don't want to pay up, we hold their bond. So we have the ability to do that. So I think all in all, they've done a pretty good job. They finished a little bit ahead, anticipating the end of this month. So
It's a good thing.
I'll have a more detailed report as I get those numbers. We can review costs.
Robert, they were giving you the damaged equipment? You were getting the damaged pieces from them?
You're getting the damaged equipment
That
back
yes, that's
for the insurance.
that's still our process that we want to go through. Is
Oh, so you haven't gotten it yet?
No.
They said they were holding on to it, or the guy said that he was.
And they were tagging it and
Yeah.
everything?
Yeah, but we haven't paid them anything yet either. So
Okay.
we're going to work those things out. There'll be exchange at some point.
Robert, how many lights still need to be inspected?
Well, they repaired over 150 that were out.
And-
151, 153 maybe.
And how many are left? That, like, I mean,
There's
at some point, all of them are
750
going to have to be
in the total
inspected.
system, and
Okay.
500, some were converted to LEDs.
Okay.
So there's
350.
350 that have the potential to go out. What I have approached them to doing is this Thursday or Friday to show us in Public Works how the upgrades are being done in the handhole, which is at the base. That's where we put the fuse kits in. That's where we put the small surge suppressor in, and that's where we check the grounding. And I believe our crews can do that. We de-energize the circuit so it's not hot, and we can do those repairs in about 20 minutes. I will have to discuss that with the union, because it could be viewed as an electrician's job. And whether or not we can do that, I think we have some general laborers that can do that type of work. Nothing up in a bucket up top, but down below.
Base.
And I want to see if we can just order the parts and do them ourselves for the remaining 350. I want to explore that first. We'll see how that works out. That's my first line of how to get this done. So hopefully a minimum amount of money to order parts, and then over the next year or two, we're upgrading all the lights. As to the heads and ballast, that would have to be through GNP, because that's the heads are a proprietary item. The ballast I think we can get, but when we're ordering one or two, we pay a much higher price. Going through GNP, they're ordering thousands, so they get a much better unit price. But we want to work out what are we doing with the remaining 350 items. So there's
They have to be
a number
checked.
of items for us to discuss, so we can plan long-term operation and maintenance of our lighting system. So we want to
Robert, the red light, green lights on the control boxes, are they installed or in the process of being installed? You know, we talked about the officers driving by, and if they see the red light, that surge suppressor and may have taken a hit and needs to be replaced.
But as you recall, we replaced those surge suppressors in the control boxes long before the discussion of having a red or green LED light. So we had purchased what was recommended for the surge suppressors and installed those before that conversation took place. So some of them do not have that function on them. We certainly can see what that would take. In lieu of a drive-by where you can view that out of the car window, we will have to perform regular maintenance checks. There's only 13 control boxes, so in a matter of a couple hours, we can certainly drive around, open the box, take a look.
I'm saying if there's 20 boxes total and we have a few of them fixed, I mean, you know, set up that way, if it's not that great a cost, I would suggest we have them all the same. It'd be something simpler to check.
Sure.
In addition to, you know, a lot of times preventive maintenance, I know your guys are doing 1,000 things, and the last thing on your mind is looking for a red light, green light
Well, we
on the
need
box.
a process, like after every electrical storm, maybe that's the time we need to go look, and maybe it's every day for a couple of weeks, and then there's a period where no electrical storm, so we don't look. Also, when the lights go out, it's a good time to look.
Well, I mean, you got the PD guys, CSOs at night driving around or whatever that, you know, there's 20 boxes, that could be a function, just like we do a light list and report those light lists out. I know Mike's been involved in that for years.
But I think once we do the upgrades, we need a protocol where we're checking on a more frequent basis, keeping that piece of infrastructure healthy.
How's our streets program? Are we got asphalt down, or are we in base, or what are we doing?
All the streets are done with the exception of Suffolk, which we finished the fine grading. We'll be putting stone down tomorrow, asphalt on Thursday and Friday. So getting near the end.
And you followed up with that young lady I sent you the phone number to on Suffolk last week?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Lastly, Mayfair. We had a ceremony this morning, and the weather cleared up. Thanks, Sam. It was really nice. I thought it was going to rain, but he brought sunshine. So
on a cloudy day.
On a cloudy day, yeah. I should write a song. What I wanted to make you aware of is what's going to happen there next. Starting on Monday, the contractor will start excavation. This means 400 to 500 trucks a day running down Beckett. So this will be a pretty intense activity for about 5 weeks, weather permitting. We've contacted the school district. I know there's a bus stop down there about midway down to 31st Street. They are notifying all their residents where they do the pickup. They're going to move that one block away from Beckett. So that's one of our concerns. The other concern is that street is in fair condition at best. Most likely it will be a primary candidate for either resurfacing or reconstruction next year after we haul 60,000 truckloads of dirt down that road in the next 5 weeks. So I just wanted to make you aware we'll probably prioritize that street for some work in next year's program.
Just a couple things, and you maybe have this in the contract, that I want to make sure that we have enough signage on Mayfair, Beckett, and whatever, that there is construction going on and trucks coming in and out. Okay, number one. I want to make sure that, you know, they're going to be hauling eons of dirt, that there's the sweeper out, and even if, you know, ours got to go out on occasion or whatever to try to catch up on something, that the sweeper does those streets. And I'm sure the state isn't going to be happy if we muddy up 31st Street. So that as well has to be taken into consideration. And also if there's any parking restrictions that you feel necessary on those streets with the trucks. So these are going to be 18-wheel trucks that are going to be driving up and down there, or whatever they're going to be using, that if, you know, you need to have one side parking or the other side, or no parking, whatever, you know, you may want to review that ahead of time. The letter that we sent out and hand-delivered to everybody on Mayfair, Beckett, Halifax was very well received. I did get a comment by one of the homeowners there that was appreciative of the letter. As you know, today, we had a host of people from the community at the groundbreaking, elected officials from MWRD, also from our state representative, Chris Welch, our state senator, Kim Lightford, host of county commissioners, Mr. Boykin, who'll be taking office on the 4th, that represents Canterbury North, Ms. Gorman, who were in that district as well, from the, I think she's 17th district, 16th or 17th, and Tobolsky was unable to attend, but he's certainly behind this project. So Danny Davis's office was there, so it was very well received, a lot of kind remarks, and people are anxious because we're going to go from 23 million gallons. We're adding another 11 million gallons of storage capacity in this phase 1. So, I mean, you heard my commentary. I did put the Forest Preserve County people on notice that, you know, we are looking for another outfall through the Forest Preserve. The Salt Creek will be working on that simultaneously with the addition of the Carlisle piping addition. So, you know, knock on wood, it's all going to go. We also talked a little bit about Addison Creek, and in talking to David St. Pierre, they've had some cost estimates to purchase the property. They've offered a cost estimate. Now the owners of the property are looking at that and going to get their own assessment of what it is. So there is some discussion as far as purchasing the property to assist on this site as well. You know, kind of out of our hands, other than pushing the boat down the road. So we have a couple of things positive for.
Robert, will the trucks be going in and out on Beckett both ways, or are they going to come in?
No. The haul route plan is to fill up on site and proceed southward on Beckett, making a right turn to Chicago Highlands down 31st. They won't be using the 18-wheelers because they can't navigate in Chicago Highlands at the golf course because it's a single lane.
But as the trucks are coming,
so they're going to be
coming out
smaller
Mayfair.
trucks.
they're coming up Mayfair and out on Beckett.
So then on the way back, they'll travel 31st Street and make a left at the signal, Mayfair, and then come in on West Carlisle, back into the site. So that's their round robin, if you will.
Okay.
They'll be coming back empty and filling up. So the loads will be taken primarily on Beckett and 31st Street. That's the plan.
They've started today. The dozer was out there taking when I talked to Scott Breka today, they were going to take off the grass piece. I know they were working on that today, and they indicated that, again, like Robert said, Monday they're going to start to dig. So it's in the silt fencing is up. For those of you who haven't been up there, the whole property is silt fenced, and Mr. Zanoni's tree will be protected. So,
yeah, just
without
wanted
saying.
to make the board aware that's pretty intense activity for 4 or 5 weeks. And, we've warned the neighborhood, but wait till you see it. It's a lot of trucks.
Robert, refresh my memory. What's it going to look like when it's done? I mean, it's just
It'll
going to
be
be big.
very similar slopes that there are today. Just the hole will be a lot bigger.
So grass, and were you landscaping it at all? What are we?
It'll be
have we
grass
talked about
like it is today, and mowable. The downward slope will be the similar 4-to-1 slope, which is a mowable slope. It's safe to mow, and we won't have to have the fencing up like it is today because of that slope, that angle of repose. As long as we have that, it's considered a safe slope. Anything steeper, it might be hard to get out. So then you have to put up fencing. And I think our intent here is to keep it as open as it is now.
They want it sleddable, so.
Well, that's my understanding is that it's a passive recreation area till it snows, and then it's more active. So it will be, larger hole, but the side slopes will be a traversable, safe side slope, like it is today.
If you look at it, probably half of it is fenced off to the east.
Mm-hmm.
So
Where the creek is.
most of the cut is going to be toward the Mayfair side. So, but if you take a look out there, you can see where the fencing is, and I'm not sure if that's going to be where the angle is, but it's generally the area of protection. So Okay. Anything else, Robert?
That's all I have.
Nothing. Melissa, hiding in the corner.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good. Just wanted to let everybody know, I was down at CMAP's offices downtown today. We were interviewing consultants for the zoning code update. We interviewed 3 firms, so I think we're going to have a decision probably in the next day or 2. So, and then they need to make a recommendation to their board if they agree with their staff's recommendation, and then we should be getting started probably in January with the code update. I think everybody knows, but we received the Illinois Green Infrastructure Grant last, I think it was a week or so
18th.
ago that we got it. We also have 2 public hearings that are scheduled, one for November 17th, just so everybody knows it's the medical marijuana dispensary. And the second one is on December 8th for the billboard at Mannheim and 290. And just so that everybody knows, Mariano's has been stocking their store with, they started stocking this week. They're going to be doing food prep later this week, and their grand opening is November 4th. So that's all
Great.
that I have.
Great, thank you. What Melissa was referring to is on the 18th, in the midst of our fall festival, we were invited to the city of Berwyn to be given $384,000 by Governor Quinn. City of Berwyn got a couple of $1 million, I think, and the city of Forest Park got about $500,000. Our grant was for 4 sections of alleys, pretty much adjacent to the Addison Creek, for the permeable paver operation. I know Robert's going to be looking at that. There's some challenges with that, with the height levels of different garages and things of that nature. However, we did secure that grant thanks to Chris Welch and the governor and a host of other people, our government consultant, Frankie DeWheel, that we were able to get some monies to do some of the alleys. So that's a positive thing out there. Very pleased. We should all be pleased at what the village has gotten this year, with another $350,000 for doing the parking lot here, which is in horrible shape around the post office. So, we're working to try to keep the money home, keeping all the people at work, which is a positive thing, and actually making the improvements to the community that we need to make. So, that's that. Pretty much I have nothing. Kind of talked about it. Sherby, anything? Nothing. Anybody else have anything we need to kibitz about? No? Anybody? Okay. I don't believe we have an executive session. So there's a motion, a second, to adjourn our board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Tommy, who got the second? Angela? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition, say no. The board meeting stands adjourned.